Okay, we got here 2020 cheap compass with the bouncy rear end. We are going to replace the rear shock absorber assembly as a whole. So as you see, I have already removed the wheel. Obviously jack up your car, support it with the jack for safety purposes. In order for you to remove the strut shock absorber assembly bolts and nuts, we're gonna go ahead and remove this e-brake actuator from underneath. It looks like it has two hex 5 or hex 6, so we're gonna go ahead and remove that. So two hex 5 screws holding the actuator, and now we can go ahead and access those nuts, hold them here or with the wrench or the socket, and unscrew them from one side or the other. It's whatever you prefer. So the nuts are 16 mil. I have removed this clip here in order to slide this brake line out of the way to have a better access on that nut here. So 16 mil on the nut, and I've used 14 to counter hold that e-torque since I don't have that big e-torques. Now this thing is coming loose from the spindle just like this. Now we have sway bar link nut that we have to release. That's a 18 mil here, and that looks like a Torx 40 to me. Torx 40, Torx 45. So let's go ahead and get this sway bar link undone. 18 mil holding it there, and using Torx 40 to undo the bolt or the nut. Sway bar link is removed. On this side, on the right side, we have this charcoal canister behind the wheel liner that is a little bit blocking our bolt right there, but we are gonna go ahead and use a long extension E16, and hopefully, as you see, I'm able to get it there. And after that, we're just gonna break them loose by hand, and then gonna go ahead and unscrew 3 of them on here. Here is our bouncy strut assembly. Here's our replacement. It's a second-hand part because these struts alone are $250 to $180 each, so it's cheaper for me to do a $90 replacement as a whole assembly. Replacement strut moved to place. Pull this cover away, slide it in on an angle to clear the charcoal canister. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm actually going to bolt or put the bolt and nut through on both ends here. That will allow me to lift this assembly up and line up the bolts without having to worry about this one falling down. Okay, one bolt nut holding it. If you look up here, we have alignment notches. You can see one right here that you need to line up to make sure your holes match up, and there is another stud. And now we're able to go ahead and sneak our bolts in once we move this bracket on the top exactly where it needs to be. And always hand thread those bolts so you don't cross thread and mess up the threads on the chassis. Okay, all 3 bolts on the top are in. Time to slide in our second bolt. Line this up, push it in. There we go. There we go. Our 16mm nut. Let's bolt them both down. Then we can go ahead and place this brake line back right here. Gonna reinstall our little clip here. Okay, these bolts and nuts are done. Brake line secured with the clip. Now it's time to get our sway bar link in. Our nut, 18 mil wrench to hold it, and the Torx 40 on the inner side. Sway bar link back in. Now it's time to put our plastic clips, 10mm ones back, 2 on the back side, and 1 of them on the front here. So 10 mil, screw them back in. Wheel liner secured. Now it's time to reinstall our e-brake actuator. E-brake actuator is installed. Time to plug it back in and slide it into its holder for the cable right here. Next step, put the wheel back on, and we are done. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment if you would do it any better. But hopefully that's a helpful video for you if you're trying to tackle this job and trying to save yourself some money, or just to educate yourself how it's done.